Rachel.
I'm Nikki, and we're the Stitch Sisters.
And this is another episode of What We Love This Week.
Episode 10.
Yes, incredible, double figures. Wow, where has the time flown? We are still having so much fun doing these for you, and we know from your lovely comments that you are having fun watching them. So please keep those comments going. It really spurs us on to find exciting new things to share with you each week. Now, first up this week, we are going to be talking about Game of Thrones, and we've already talked about it, and it turned into a 10-minute conversation.
So this is your get out of jail free card. If you're not into Game of Thrones, skip ahead to the next bit, use the link underneath, and it'll take you to when we finished finally chatting about it. We apologise, but we're just a bit geeky, we can't help it.
Yes, but there are no spoilers. So if you are into Game of Thrones, you can just keep watching.
Yeah, enjoy. So, should we start with the most important thing of the week has been Game of Thrones?
I think it has to be, hasn't it?
And as you know, we are full-blooded geeks. I am definitely geeks through and through, and it does go into the fantasy side for me. So the Game of Thrones and the books and everything like that have been a big part of my life, and I have been loving the new series. It's just been so worth waiting for.
Yes, that's something that we shared before we even knew each other. So Game of Thrones, I've read the first book. I think I read all the way up to Dance of Dragons, and that's when I felt like it started to lose its way a little bit.
Okay.
Or I think maybe because by that point they'd released the TV
episodes,
show,
and
it was so different that I was finding it difficult to keep reading in this same universe where the timelines were all wrong and nothing was quite as it is.
I stopped after about book 3, but it's my plan to read them all in the summer. That's going to be my summer reading.
I think now once it's ended,
it's finished,
once it's ended, I think that'd be a really nice way to do it, because there are lots of changes and there are lots of differences, and as with most of these things, there are diehard fans who will always prefer the books. But for me, I loved reading the books, but the TV show is just
it's
different level, isn't it?
Absolutely epic. If you are watching the TV programme, on Now TV or on Sky, they have an extra programme called Thronecast, which is presented by Sue Perkins, who is obviously a diehard fan as well. But they have actors on every week, and they basically dissect the episode straight afterwards. So if you haven't watched it, it's a really good way of kind of taking your time and going back through the episode that you've just watched, and it's looking at each scene and thinking about how that's affecting all the other characters, everything like that. So I watched that as well.
Really I do the whole go and finding all the fan commentaries on YouTube, like all the videos that have been made, all the different conspiracy theories and everything else. I find that as much as an enjoyment as watching, well, not as much because obviously watching it is amazing, but I find that's a big part of it for me, because I like seeing how other people have interpreted it, and if I've read it the same way as them. I
also love watching the behind the scenes things as well. So I watched some of this morning. There was a 40-minute behind the scenes about the last episode, and it's really fascinating because you can see the scenes, you can see the actors doing the bits that you've just watched, but it's in green screen, and there's half of their face has stickers on it and things like that.
I could watch that.
But it's amazing. I love it.
I wouldn't want it it would spoil it for me somehow. I just think I get so absorbed in the fantasy of it all, and once it's all finished, then I will probably be able to go back and watch things like that, because I will be fascinated to see how it's all made. But at the moment, I'm so in that zone, I can't possibly let anything come in and go, it's not real. It is real. Dragons are real. It's crazy to think about the budget that this especially this season must have.
I heard it was a couple of £100,000 a minute.
Oh, it must be easily, because it's just, it's insane. I can honestly say after the last episode, and I will not give away any spoilers, because we know some of you might not have had a chance to watch that, although clearly if you've not watched it yet, you're not a big enough fan.
Clearly. It's Sunday. What's going on?
That, but surely you must have found time in your life. I literally dropped everything. I'm watching this now. But I appreciate that not everybody's in a position to do that. But yeah, my mind was completely blown by the sheer scale of this episode. I've never seen anything like it on TV.
No.
And I thought that when I watched The Battle of the Bastards last season. That was just another one where you just went, what? But then this one had so much more going on in it. The strategy involved in planning how that's all going to play out. They must have had military advisors. They must have had everything. So much going on.
They did 3 months of night shoots.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
So that's shooting every night in the pitch black in Dublin for 3 months solid. And some of the actors on this this behind the scenes thing were saying the first couple of weeks were fine, but by the time you got to kind of week 3 and 4, everyone was starting to look slightly deranged, and so it kind of just added
too much.
It added to the theatre of the whole thing, because everyone is kind of like on edge and kind of like not really sure what's going on, and there's undead all over the place and dragons and it, you know, it was really weird. But can you imagine that being your work, you know, kind of thing?
It would be the best job in the world. I mean, I can honestly say, purely from, I know you have to suspend disbelief for these kind of things, so some people really struggle with things like Game of Thrones because they can't buy into the whole fantasy thing. It's too far from reality for them to be able to even enjoy it.
That's why I like it.
I'm definitely in the same camp as you. The more far-fetched, the better. Yeah. I love the escaping to different worlds. But even if you can pick holes in the plot, or if you think the characters aren't all strong, or whatever fault you might find with it, from a purely cinematic point of view, that last episode is probably the best thing I have ever watched on TV or in the movies. I genuinely think it was amazing.
I sent Rachel a text the next morning after we'd both watched it, and I said, what was it? I said, what a time to be a geek. Because it basically had the best film ever with the Avengers Endgame, and then we had episode 3 of Game of Thrones.
Just amazing.
It was just makes my little geeky heart flutter.
I sent Nikki a text message a short way in saying, I've watched 15 minutes and I've had to stop it, or I'm going to have a heart attack.
I actually was quite sad there wasn't actual advert breaks, because I felt like
you needed to
I needed to go, right, okay, can I just have a minute? I'll make a cup of tea.
Yeah, I watched it in 3 sections. The first time, I've watched it more times than once, but I watched it in 3 goes, because the first 15 minutes was just too much and I needed to calm down and make a cup of tea. Then I went back to it, and then I had to stop because I had to prioritise my husband and children, which is an important part of motherly life. Can't all be Game of Thrones.
No.
And then I went back to it later when everyone had gone to bed. But I'm glad I did in a way, because I don't think my heart could have coped.
No, I literally watched it on the edge of my seat. I was on the edge of my seat and my hands were like this around my mouth the whole time for an hour and a half. It was like this. I couldn't sit back, I couldn't relax, I couldn't do anything. It was just literally, I think I was trying to get as close to it as possible. That was the other thing. I did consider going and sitting in front of the TV. Just like,
Imagine watching that with a VR headset. You would literally have a heart attack.
Someone suggested on Facebook, oh no, it was on the radio, they were reviewing it on the radio. I was listening to 5 Live and they were reviewing it, and they said, wouldn't it be awesome if cinemas would just show an episode every Monday night, and you paid like going to the cinema and you could watch it on the big screen in the complete dark? I would watch that.
I would be like, absolutely.
I'm not available every Monday night for the next 18,000 weeks.
That would be so good.
Start from week 1. I'm going to watch them all again once it finishes. I'm going to go back. Obviously, clearly, this is me. I'm going to go back and binge watch them all from the beginning, and then I'm going to read all the books. If you're coming in at this episode and you've never watched any Game of Thrones, at least we might encourage you to go back and watch them all from the beginning, because they are fantasy, but it is just about humans and like relationships and war and things like that. But it's really, really interesting. It's really clever. It's brilliantly shot. It's brilliantly acted, and we can't recommend it enough.
And that is why we've spent 9 minutes talking about it, which is probably the longest that we've given any single subject so far. So we apologise if Game of Thrones isn't your thing, and if you've stuck with this long regardless.
Well done. We love you too.
We do. Okay, so another major thing that's happened this week is Me Made May has started. First of all, I can't believe we're in May.
How did that happen?
I feel like I spend my whole life saying these days, how are we in May already? How is it 2019 already? How are my children 13 already? It's just this constant, it's just life is flying by. Yeah, exactly.
Did we actually have March? I can't even remember. What happened in March?
To be honest, I don't know.
It was just Easter.
That was like Christmas was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, one Easter weekend. That's all. That's the only memory I have of it.
It was hot.
It was hot and it was nice. But Me Made May, I always love Me Made May.
Me too.
It was the first kind of big thing that I did as a sewer, as part of the sewing community, and is it its 10th year now?
It's its 10th year, and the funny thing is, we've only been on Instagram for 2 years. I know that's hard to believe, but this is our 2-year anniversary. Is that right? It is right, isn't it? This is our third Me Made May.
This is my third Me Made May. Yes.
So I only joined Instagram in the March of 2017, I think it must have been, and so that came up obviously quite soon, and it's the thing that introduced me to this whole world of makers online, because I knew there were other sewing people sharing their makes, because I'd found someone I was following, someone people were following me, but Me Made May is what opened my eyes to quite how many there are.
And it's a great reason to find new people on Instagram.
Yeah.
So if you've not done Me Made May, or if you're new to Instagram, it's a great way just to go into the hashtag, onto hashtag Me Made May, and have a look, and you can see other people's makes right the way through, and they always use the same hashtag.
Well, so actually there is an annual one as well, and the interesting thing was, I had a look this morning, and Me Made May 2019, which, bearing in mind that today's day 3, has already got 7,400 posts against it. So that gives you an idea of how huge it is.
Yeah.
Sewers from all around the world, not just sewers, knitters, and do it as well, all around the world to take part. So if you aren't feeling comfortable sharing your own makes, but you want to feel inspired by other people, still go and check out the hashtag, because you'll just find so many people, and you'll be saving things left, right and centre and going, oh, I want to make that, oh, I like that, oh, I like how she styled that, and you're just going to end up with your folders full of people that are inspiring you.
It's definitely very inspirational. You can come and follow us. Make sure that you follow She Sews Vintage, which is Rachel on Instagram, and I'm Sobri Sewing. So we'll be posting our outfits of the day right the way through May.
Yes. Now, the main message of Me Made May is that you're supposed to make a pledge. You're supposed to think about your Me Made wardrobe and kind of what you want to focus on during the month, whether you want to try and wear something Me Made every day, whether you want to try and make sure you wear all of your Me Made garments over the course of the month. But you have to have a little, not have to, but most people have an angle, have something that they want to focus on. Some people use it as an opportunity to figure out what gaps they have in their wardrobe.
Yes.
And some people use it as an opportunity to repair things or upcycle things that have served their purpose.
I've also seen some people trying to sort of giving themselves a sewing ban on new things throughout May. So we did that last year, didn't we? We didn't sew for anything new during May, so we tried to wear the things that were already in our wardrobe. And there's some people who are doing that, but finishing off half-made projects. So the only sewing they're allowed to do is finishing all of those UFOs and things like that. And it's a good just way of looking at your wardrobe and seeing what you've got and what you don't wear.
Exactly.
And trying to what I'm trying to do is just things that make me happy. So I'm wearing things that will make me happy, just to try and counteract my hormones and everything that's going on at the moment. And just trying to look at my wardrobe in a fresh light. So the other day I had on my brightest stripy rainbow trousers and a t-shirt. Even though the weather was completely inappropriate for that dressing, I still wore it, and I still felt sunny, and I still felt happy. I had to get changed out of it in the end because it was just too damn cold. But it doesn't matter. Just for that few hours that I had it on, I felt sunny and happy, and that's more important to me at the moment. So I'm wearing things that are giving me joy.
Yes, and I think that's something that I learned during the So Happy Colour Challenge on Instagram, is that it never occurred to me to dress for my mood. I dress for my mood in the sense that sometimes I might be feeling feminine, and sometimes I might be feeling grungy, and sometimes I might be feeling masculine, and I like to dress for my mood in that sense. But dressing for my mood in terms of I don't feel very happy, I'm going to let my clothes make me feel happier.
Try and counteract it.
It's not something that I'd really experienced, and then through wearing lots of colour through that challenge, I realised that it can have a huge impact on your mood, and what you wear. You can. I'm not saying you can change it like that, but you can definitely have a positive impact on it.
Absolutely.
Just by making yourself feel good and putting on the thing that makes you feel happiest, I think.
And sometimes it's just the small things. It's the small changes that make the biggest difference sometimes, and kind of, can kick you out into a different playing field and that kind of thing. So that's the way we're looking at it. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yes. Well, I've decided to look at it slightly differently, although it's similar in terms of it's things that make me happy, but I want to use it as a chance to just have a little trip down memory lane. So I feel like just in those 2 years that I've been on Instagram, but my sewing journey is quite long, and it's been through all sorts of different changes. But I feel like in the last few years specifically, I have learned so much about my sewing in terms of my skills, but also in terms of my style and what I like, and ignoring what suits me and just embracing things that I want to wear, and what that's done for my sense of self-worth as well, and how that's really helped me feel better about myself by throwing out all those rules and not worrying about what's flattering and not worrying about what should suit a pear shape and all those kind of things. And so I want to kind of use what my Me Made wardrobe to have a look back. I've got all of my clothes down out of the loft. I don't have things dating back years and years and years. Most of the stuff I've made in the last 3 or 4 years. But I plan to go and pick things out that remind me of significant parts in my sewing journey and what they taught me, and how I was feeling at the time, and just kind of share that with my followers, and just sort of give them an idea of how that particular garment helped me with my sewing, or with my style, or with my self-worth.
I think sometimes we can be distracted by the new a lot of the time, and we forget about all the things that we made and loved at the time, and it might have been 6 months or a year or 2 years, but it's still perfectly wearable, and it's good to revisit those things and get more wearers out of them.
God, we're chatty today. We've only talked about 2 items, and we're already nearly 20 minutes in, so make yourself a cup of tea, because you're going to need it for this one. But then it's Sunday morning. Relax, enjoy, listen to us waffle on about a few more things.
It's bank holiday weekend. You don't even need to go to work tomorrow.
That's awesome. So, should we move on to some happy posts?
Yes.
A bit less talking and a bit more showing. We've had some lovely happy posts this week.
Yes.
What should we show them first?
Let's do Girl Charlie, because we got some fabrics from Girl Charlie, but I want to just point out before we go any further, Girl Charlie also have a Me Made May 20% off the entire website for the whole of May.
Yes.
So there's a special code you can use. I think it's Me Made May. I'll pop it at the bottom when I check exactly what it is. And then they give you 20% off for the whole of May, which is amazing.
Excellent. Yes.
So go and have a look at their stuff. But they sent us some lovely fabrics.
They did. Now, if you don't already know, Girl Charlie specialise in knit fabrics. That's all they sell. And we have been very, very kindly given some fabric each to make one of the dresses for our trip to Greece in the summer.
Yes.
So
that's
we
a pattern
are
review for you
making
as well.
McCall's pattern. It was one of the jersey dresses that we mentioned on our McCall's pattern haul video. So if you've not watched that yet, go and check that out.
I'll put a picture.
Will also put a picture and link to the pattern below.
Yes.
We're making different views each. But do you want to show us what you've chosen?
I've gone for this one. So it's a lightweight jersey, because I didn't want anything too heavy, but it's got these kind of Greek keys on it, which I think will just be beautiful as a long maxi dress.
Yes.
And it's really soft and really light, and I'm really pleased with it. I think it's such a lovely print.
And it's clearly a Greek print, which is perfect for holiday. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's going to be really nice. It feels really silky, actually. It's cotton.
It's cotton, but with a rayon. It's got some rayon in it, which is what gives it that lovely soft hand and makes it drape really beautifely as well.
It smells like Girl Charlie.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with how Girl Charlie's fabrics.
We love the smell of them. And I chose this hot pink, cerise pink polka dot. So it's a similar weight fabric. It's a cotton with a rayon mix, and it's just got such a lovely hand. It feels amazing. Because it's cotton. It's going to be very breathable on holiday. But obviously polka dots are huge right now. If you've not watched our spring trends videos, in the one I think that was Prince and fabrics. Prints and fabrics, yes. We talked about polka dot.
Yes.
So when I saw this one, I had to have it.
We linked to the green version of that.
Oh, did we?
Yes,
okay, lovely.
It's one of the polka dots. It's the bright green one.
But I just love the hot pink colour. And I think that this is going to be one that's not just great for holiday, but I think it will be one that I wear a lot all summer long.
With your colouring, you're definitely going to look like a flamenco dancer.
Is that ever a bad thing? So that's fabric from Girl Charlie. I've also also been sent some lovely fabric from Like So Amazing, Sarah at Like So Amazing, and this is again for holiday dress. And this is this beautiful cotton lawn. So it's this beautiful lilac colour, and it has these bright yellow flowers on it with a black outline. Now, if you hadn't got the memo, it is super trendy at the moment to be wearing ditzy florals, and the more sort of 80s Laura Ashley, the better. Now, I can't quite bring myself to wear the sorts of fabrics that my mum would have dressed me in the 80s, but I think that this is a lovely mixture of the two. It's modern and retro.
It's nearly there,
at
but
the
not
same
quite.
time.
Yeah, and I love
just,
that lilac.
Yes.
It's lovely.
So I'm thinking this is going to be a wrap dress.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be lovely and floaty and gorgeous, and I cannot wait to get started.
Do you know what it looks like? It looks like those flowers were white, and you've just taken a little highlighter to them, and because it's almost like it's almost neon. It looks, because it's so bright against the lilac.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're not completely coloured in, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
it's gorgeous.
But I love colour combos that are complementary. So yellow is opposite purple on the spectrum, and so that's why they work together so beautifully. And I love that they're both soft versions of those colours.
Yes.
So I'm very excited to get cracking with that one. Thank you very much to Girl Charlie and to Like So Amazing for those beautiful things.
Yes.
And then the other delivery that we had, which we're very, very excited about. Should we just show them the box?
Yes.
Shoes!
From a lovely little company called Air and Grace.
Yes, they do the most amazing shoes. Boots, sandals, everything in between.
Yeah,
trainers. Yes, beautiful, beautiful designs, very original things you won't see anywhere else. And we have been sent some lovely espadrilles to wear with all of our lovely summer dresses that we're making. And you're not going to believe how cool these are.
So they are amazing.
Shall we show them?
I think we should do them one at a time.
Okay.
Because we don't want to ruin. We want to have the whole shoe.
Okay, so they're both from the Shimmy range, okay? So they have these amazing ties with these gorgeous colourful tassels on that you tie around your ankles, and it's this beautiful braid. But the actual tip of the shoe is like a glitter, so it's a shimmer, and that's why it's called a shimmy. So I went for this lovely fuchsia pink, and I love it so much, but I also love how it's married the purples and the different shades of pink and cream and brown. It's almost like it's giving you lots of colours you can immediately wear it with. And I just think I'd wear them with anything. I literally just think they're going to go with everything.
I just think everything from a fancy dress to a pair of cut-off jeans. I think they just look amazing.
They're so soft. They're so well made, and I just can't stop stroking them because it just feels amazing. It's almost like a suede, like a shimmer suede.
Mine are suede.
Oh,
so mine are not shimmy.
Probably are as well.
Yours are the shimmy ones, and then I went for these yellow ones, and so mine are less colour in them, but I've got the little bit of gold through the strap.
Yeah, I love the gold.
And there's gold in the little tassels as well.
Gorgeous.
And then the top part is actual suede. So they are absolutely gorgeous and so soft. I can't tell you how soft they are.
They are.
And look, the little shimmies. They are beautiful. So thank you very much, Erin Grace.
Yes, thank you so much. We're so grateful to receive those from you, and we are going to wear them with pride. They're going to go with so many different summer and holiday outfits.
Yes.
So that's very, very exciting. Thank you.
So what's next?
What's next? Well, another thing, if you're in the mood for a bit of shopping, we just thought we'd mention very quickly. We've mentioned it on previous episodes, but Gertie, who, as you know, I always have a soft spot for because she was a big influence on my sewing early on, and she's released her new book, Gertie Sews Jiffy Dresses, and it's full of vintage inspired dresses that you can make really quickly, hence the name Jiffy. So if you're interested in that, we'll pop a little link below where you can go and get yourself a copy. Ours is on the way, and we can't wait for it to arrive. So we can start planning out lovely things we're going to make from it.
We can show them next week.
Yes, I mean, I don't necessarily have any specific plans because I've got lots of dress plans as it is, but it needs to go in my collection because I have all of Gertie's other books. So.
Yes. But it'd be nice to see. I like to see books in detail and see all the pictures you don't get to see when they give you the previews and things like that. So I'd be excited to see that.
Yes.
What else have we got to talk about? Swimsuits.
Yes.
So there's 2 new swimsuit. Well, there's lots of swimsuit patterns out there, and as we're talking quite a lot about holidays and things like that at the moment, the Foldline have just done a fantastic top 10 roundup of all of the swimsuits. But we wanted to mention that so you could go and have a look yourself. Swimsuits are no different than sewing with jersey. If you can sew with the stretch knit, you can make a swimsuit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling myself, because I've not done one yet, but we're going to try this year.
I have made several. I've made a couple of bikinis and a swimsuit and some leotards for my daughter when she was doing gymnastics. And the one tip that I'll give you, if you want it to be a little bit easier, is that if you do so with lycra or activewear, it can be a little bit trickier if you're sewing it on a standard sewing machine and you don't have a cover stitch machine. Just hemming it can be a little bit tricky. There are lots of things that you can try with twin needles, with nylon threads, with, you know, all sorts of different elastics, all that sort of thing. But it is definitely trickier. But you can make swimwear out of cotton jerseys. They don't air dry as quickly because they're not activewear, so they don't have that sort of what's it called, wicking. Is it called wicking?
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard that
there's a quality fabric has it, and I think it's called wicking, and it just means that it dries out very quickly. So if you wear stuff at the gym, you'll probably find that that's what happens. And so you won't have that. But if, like me, you like to have multiple swimsuits at the beach, and you can change into one whilst you lay one out on a sun lounger and let it dry out, then it'll be absolutely fine. So that's something you can do, because then it's no trickier than sewing a jersey top.
Yeah, so we're going to give it a go this year. There are 2 new patterns that have been released this week or in the last couple of weeks. One from the Friday Pattern Company and one from Megan Nielsen. So we'll pop some pictures up so you can see them, but we definitely recommend you go and check out the Foldline's top 10. And, you know, challenge yourself. Make a swimsuit this year if you're going on holiday.
Absolutely. Our only difficult bit is going to decide which one, because there's so many great ones and I love so many of them. I really don't know where to start.
Might have to be a mix and match. The bottoms from one and the top from another one, and things like that. So we'll see. We'll maybe talk about that in more depth later on, once we've looked at it and once we're at the point where we're deciding, looking at fabrics and looking at the patterns in more depth. We can maybe do a video for you. So if you're interested, pop a little message underneath and let us know.
So it's a very chatty, talkative What We Love this week, and we can't believe how quickly the time has flown, but we're going to leave you with one more thing that we think is going to make your Sunday. If you've not found it before, there is a YouTube channel called Bad Lip Reading. Now, I've come back to this so many times, I forget about it and then I remember and I go back, and I can spend as much time as I want literally crying with laughter. Don't be drinking coffee when you're watching it, because you will be snorting it all over the place. So what they do is they take iconic movies, TV shows, presidential speeches, all sorts of different world events, sporting events that will happen, and they dub over it with other things that it looks like the lips are saying. So they're lip reading and making up other words that fit the same movements, but it's so beautifully done that you genuinely think that that's what the people are saying. You know they're not, but your brain is saying they clearly are. That's what they're saying. Sometimes they turn them into songs. I watch them with my kids and we literally just roar with laughter. There's some Star Wars ones in particular. Go and check out the Star Wars songs, because they are absolutely hilarious. But there's also Game of Thrones ones that we've just been mentioning today. There's loads and loads of dubs of various different Trump speeches and all sorts of other things, and it's just hilarious. So if you fancy, I mean, this is nonsense humour, just so you know, so if you prefer a more highbrow form of humour, this might not be for you. But if people saying crazy random stuff makes you laugh, then go and check that out. We'll link below. It's absolutely hilarious.
So we hope you enjoy that. We hope you end your Sunday with a little giggle. So have a great day, have a great bank holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week.